back at again on Hot Takes. This is Oscar.
And this is Asylum Demon.
And what are we doing today,
The
Asylum?
topic, as you have probably seen from the here, I can play that one for you.
Okay, here you go. Yeah, do this.
So
Do this part.
they'll look good to them.
Yeah.
They'll look good to them. As the title probably shows, this is gonna be a hot takes. I guess the best term we could come up with is race washing. I don't know. I think that'll be the title, right?
Yeah. It's not just applicable to white or blacks or it's just all.
Fuck, hold on, I was about to button. So today we're playing Dark Souls. We're gonna be playing Dark Souls for the entirety of Dark Souls, basically. So when we finish this game as background gameplay for these videos, move on to the next one. So race washing. I guess first thing we have is our definition. Like, I don't know if you want to talk, because I'm gonna make the character. I don't know if you want me to actually. Do you want to make the character?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because that way you can make them ugly or pretty.
Yeah.
And I can just talk about it. So,
All right. So
race
I'll
washing, what it is / our definition. That's the first bullet point. I guess my definition of race washing would be when you take a character's race
Only
in
two
a piece
choices?
of media. So whether it be like video games, movies, I guess a book, but I feel like it'll be kind of harder for people. But I would say movies and video games or shows, whatever. When you take a character and they're supposed to be, well, if it's already something that's established,
Yeah.
and then you re-race them as something else, that's what I would call race washing.
Right.
So basically, like, let's say the character is from like a comic book and they're already a specific race, like they're fucking white or they're fucking black or Asian, and then you change them to another race to make them like diverse. But it really, I feel like it's kind of, I guess it's probably biased, but it's kind of worse when you take an already like diverse character, as in I guess non-white, if that's how you want to consider diverse, and then turn them into like another race, because it's like you already have the diversity, you just want to include more people of a specific race, so it's like, I guess, a bias in a way.
Yeah.
But we don't know if the audio's too loud.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. I'm
Oh
sorry.
well, because we want to listen to the game too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So here's where I'm gonna probably be a bit on the other side. I'm trying to give you rebuttals so I could get your argument on this. But like, what is like, you know how you were saying like, oh, they're changing stuff, like, let's say Asians, characters that are meant to be Asians or characters meant to be Mexicans, they're turning them into blacks or whatever, right? And how I guess that's not correct for you, but what if that's, I don't know, do you think specifically in this country, do you think that's more okay because of the fact of what it did to the black people, or do you think that's not a good enough reason? I don't know, I feel like maybe because of like the 400 years that they've been through.
Oh, so you're saying because of that? Well, because see, that's what I'm trying to say, is that if they want black representation, because I guess this is going to turn into talking about it, like, we wrote down a bullet point that says whitewashing. It's not really whitewashing anymore, it's more like we're blackwashing characters. So we're turning characters that aren't black and we're making them black. So I guess that's what you're trying to say, is like, yes. Oh, should they get representation? It's like, yes, but I think it should be more in the form of new media or characters in those TV shows or cartoons or movies, I think it should be completely new characters, because it's kind of dumb that they're gonna take a character that already has an established race and then turn them black, or because it's just like, why do that? Because then the thing is that the argument presented there is always like, oh, it's about diversity. Okay, you had diversity already. If the character, especially if the character was like Asian, or if the character was like Latino, and then you turn them into another race, I guess we might as well just call it blackwashing at this point, because that's like really what we're saying. But it's just a lot in recent, like I've seen a lot recently. It's been Asian characters that they've been turning black. One instance I could think of like a character that's white that they turned black was I don't think you've ever seen it, but I saw it because you know it's a chick flick. But the To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Okay.
Have you seen that movie?
Probably
So
not.
I think in the first one it ends with this guy in the military that she sent a letter to. I mean, I'm not gonna explain the whole fucking plot. Point is, she's in the end. There's this letter she sent to a military guy. He's white at the end of the first movie. Second movie comes in. For some reason, they recasted him as a black guy, and they didn't even tell the original actor that he got kicked out and was recasted. That's what I'm saying. Like, why, if he was already established in the book, because this is based off of a book, and in the movie to be white, why did they just suddenly make him black? Because it's just like bullshit diversity. Like, you know, it's kind of dumb. That's the only instance I could think of a white guy. Like, there's probably other instances, maybe, like, but I would say that's more of a recent thing that's been happening, where they're just throwing in more black people and then try to say it's diversity, but not really. I feel like it's not really when they're changing other minorities into black. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And then, like I was saying, it's been happening with Asian people mostly. I don't know what's up with all this random Asian hate. I'm gonna call it Asian hate.
It's because it's probably has a lot to do with how Donald did the whole thing with the coronavirus.
That's
how
true,
he blames it like on China and all that. I mean,
yeah, like there's really been a sudden rise of Asian hate, but I've just seen that a lot in media. They've been changing a lot of Asian characters into like black characters. So hopefully I can put up pictures of it. But like I was telling you that I don't know if it's true, but in the Titans live action show, that I think it was Tim Drake is an Asian American character, and that in the live action show they're gonna make him black. I don't know if it's true, because I just saw like a quick article, and you know how those articles can be there now.
yeah.
Sometimes you read into it and it's just like I just saw the name of the fucking character.
I know you love it. Hey, what's the best class?
Best class?
Yeah, just so we can have a nice and easy.
Strongest really is Pyromancer.
Pyromancer. Okay. What do you think Nico would be?
Pyromancer or Sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
Nico would be a fucking deprived.
But look at him. He doesn't look like that. Oh, look at that. Okay. I'll just do. I mean, we also.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, they're making Tim Drake black, and I think that's kind of dumb because he was already Asian American. In a way, he's a minority, right? Because he's Asian and American, but it's mostly the Asian part. But it's just kind of, you already have the diversity there. He's already Asian. But then all of a sudden they're just gonna make him black because of why? Because diversity. But it doesn't make sense because he was already a minority.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Alright, I see your point. And one last thing. What's the best game? I don't know.
Master Key.
Master Key. Okay, let's start this. You can play because I keep.
I don't know if you want to talk.
I'm making the character.
You want to skip the intro?
No, we could just leave it in there. So I
don't know if you want to turn the volume down. Okay. It'll be pretty loud for this part. So
alright then. We'll just put that a little bit.
A land of
great but like at 10 or something. I think that'd be cool.
Alright, so the replacing of other diverse characters just to make them black. That's your biggest issue.
That is my biggest issue. But I mean, it's not just that because I don't like that they're making them black. Yeah, it's more I don't like the overall idea of changing race of a character. It's just that I'm saying now recently they've been changing them to black to like say that's diverse. You know, like it's just
like they're just being like saying like if you're black you're diverse. If you're not, then if it's not black, it's not
basically
diverse.
Like
okay.
Well, because that's just what's been happening now. But of course, you know, there's other of course they'll probably change a black character to white, and like that's not okay either. Like the whole overall video is gonna be like I don't like that they changed the race of characters. Right. But I'm just saying that recently,
as of
things have been black washed instead of white washed because of how
sensitive people in media are and everything. Apparently, if you don't have a black character, because I never even if it's a show that has other characters, I honestly hear most of the time they'll be like, oh, there's no black people, it's not diverse. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Or I feel like this should be a separate hot take, but we should do one on Friends.
On Friends?
On Friends.
I've
Because
never
I know a lot of
hated
people. No, dude, it's a pretty good show, but
No, it's not better
I
than
feel
that.
like it's not fair the way people say that it's how bad it is, and then they try to say it's racist,
It's racist.
sexist, it's not diverse
It's
just
not
because
diverse.
there's no black people, even though there are actually black people that show up in the show.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So you have a problem with the new Little Mermaid then, right? Come out how she's gonna be black now instead of
Yeah,
white or
because
whatever.
I don't really like that. I mean, they're not trying to stick, I don't think they're trying to stay original or accurate to the source material, but I think the story apparently is Dutch, and they're white people, Dutch people are white people, and they're if the Little Mermaid comes from somewhere in that area in Europe, they're usually probably going to be white. I don't know what time frame they're ready.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are colored folk in.
Well, yeah, now, but I'm saying at the time the story was probably written, because I have no idea when the story was written.
But okay, so then but what do you say to that argument of how black people now, they don't really want the same old retreats of stories another slave story, nice, another growing up without a father, nice. Why not let them have other characters of that? Do you think that's not alright either? You think they shouldn't be given the opportunity to be oh, let me just expand a different type of story?
No, I think that, yeah, I think a good example of that is the way what's his name? The guy who made Pulp Fiction. Well, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name.
Wasn't Samuel Jackson in that one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the way he wrote Samuel L. Jackson's character in that movie was really that's what it was a new character. I'm pretty sure it was a new character. He wrote him in a stereotypical way, and is what you're trying to say. They shouldn't have stereotypical stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. But yeah, that's what I was saying. That I think that's a good example of someone doing something like that. He didn't make him really stereotypical with his backstory, because I don't really think he has too much of a crazy backstory in that movie. But he was just a really cool, funny hitman compared to the other guy. He was actually good at his job, because I mean, you've seen Pulp Fiction. I can't be spoiler alert, the movie's fucking old,
Right, I haven't seen Pulp Fiction, but continue.
Really?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh my.
But I know it's good, but yeah.
So, I guess
Just spoil
do you
it,
care?
I'm
Okay,
gonna
so there's the two hitmen, right?
Okay. Wait, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert!
Yes.
Never seen Pulp Fiction somehow. There's two hitmen. There's I forgot his fucking name. He was in Greece, and then there's Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
The guy dies because he wasn't a good hitman. He was just doing stuff that a hitman shouldn't do, or whatever he was. And then Samuel L. Jackson is the actual smart hitman and the good character, and he wrote him to be smart, I guess you could say the non-stereotypical, but I mean, I don't know if that would really count.
Mm-hmm.
But he just wrote him to be a good character, and then the actor was black. Samuel L. Jackson was really famous. He was black, and then it's just I think they're allowed, but then at the same time, that comes down to how the writer is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're gonna be.
If they take writing classes. Yeah. All right then. And so does it matter to you if they're really really accurate to the story, or at least just somewhat? Is that bothersome to you, that they're not super accurate?
I feel she should have just stayed. I mean, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know how the story goes exactly, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure there was the female mermaid,
okay,
who was most likely white. I don't know if she was a redhead, that's that Disney stuff. We can't go based off of the Disney stuff. But
if he was a racist too.
That's the most. Exactly.
Right.
That's the most. But it's just when you think about mermaids, mermaids were always drawn, and they were always white, so that's just, I don't know. I just think actually backtrack on that. I think Disney is making the live action, right? it's supposed to be based off the Little Mermaid. So why, like, that's sort of like, she should have been a redhead woman, you know? Like, why would they make her black? That, like, see, if it's going off of the actual Little Mermaid source material, like the Disney movie, then she should have just been white. If they really wanted to include a black character, I'm pretty sure that in the movie she has like like a black sister. Like, oh, because she has other sisters in the movie. If I remember right, I think there was like at least one black sister. So why couldn't they just write the movie about her, but then maybe also just include the sisters a little bit if they really wanted diversity? You know, see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, they could have made her sisters, like, one of them Asian, one of them black, one of them, like, I don't know, Latina or, like, Indian, like that, you know? That's what they could have done to include the diversity, but they should have just stuck to making Ariel a redhead. Like, it's... And not just that, but I've seen people who have attacked, like, kind of, not recently, but when I think the movie was announced, there's, like, redheads who were dressing up as like, Ariel, and they were being attacked by people in the comments and stuff for some random reason, just because they were white, and they're you know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what the hell is up with that? That's crazy.
So, but you could see where it could be seen as like someone looking at this as, oh, like this is racist by thinking that not having a black Ariel would be okay as opposed to like a white Ariel, right? Like, because I remember when it came out, like, oh, it was gonna be a black Ariel, like people were upset, people are angry, and then those, like, the people you have that point of view, like, oh, well, they should be white and all this and that, and it's not sticking to the story. There were arguments being made like, oh, well, they're just being racist because they can't accept that there's a black Ariel, or they can't accept that there could be black characters. I mean, that is a diverse type of thing that they're doing, right? Like, if it was an Asian Ariel, would you still have the same mindset? Yeah, right? So, I mean, I don't know. When I heard of it, I didn't really have a problem with it because I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. It's cool that they had a black Ariel in that and all that, because I was like, you know, it's about time that they did something for some characters. But I mean, I could totally see where you're coming from with this race washing thing, because yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, if you're gonna make, like, say like, oh, damn, I messed this one up already. If you're gonna be like, oh, if you're Asian, if you're Mexican, if you're Indian, anything like that, then that's not being diverse. Like, you have to change your character to be black or anything, because that's diverse. I don't know about that. That's kind of weird. Also, like, I don't know if this pertains to it, but like, what about how like voice actors are now like leaving their job, like white voice actors, like, for example, like Big Mouth, the voice actress of Misty, she's leaving the character. She's leaving the show because she's not black and she's voicing a black black character, and so they had to go find a black, you know, voice actress or whatever to voice that character. How do you feel about like that? Do you think that's?
I just feel like that if they want like colored people to voice colored people in their cartoons, then they should do that at the beginning instead of trying to cancel people for voicing colored like characters, you know, like now. Like, if they're already doing it, then why the fuck are you gonna get mad and then try to get the person fired, being like, oh, they're voicing a colored character and they're not colored? Because it's like, well, they already are the character, especially if they've been around for like a really long time. Like, they are the character. It's kind of fucked up to just push them out of their job and then call them racist or whatever. Like, that's just kind of dumb. I think at this point they should, I guess the problem is, it's not even, I think, the people that care who created the show, it's more the audience.
Yeah.
But I think if the audience cares so much, then I guess don't cancel like a fucking person who's already voicing a colored person. Just be like, oh, instead of that, maybe make like a new show. I don't know if I can talk to. Complain on the internet, I guess.
Yeah. Like,
oh, they should make a new show instead of making like white people freaking like voice black people. Let's get more black voice actor recognition by hiring them and then making them voice colored characters or something.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. Because I honestly think a lot of people also didn't care that they were making her black because she was white, you know? Like, there's already kind of like a bias there.
Oh, you're talking about Arrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like there's already a bias there that they don't care about making a character that's white black.
Right, yeah.
But if it was like another, but then again, like this whole Tim Drake thing, I think some people didn't like that either. They're like, well, he was already Asian American, so why are y'all making him black? But I think there's a lot of more of a bias now that, oh, black, white, if it's a white character, it doesn't really freaking matter, let's just make him black. And then people then will be like, well, why do they have to be white? Are you racist against black people? You know, they'll come up with that bullshit.
Right, because like I would be upset if like the Ghost of Tsushima game, like they dropped it with like Tom Holland as the lead character instead of like some Asian like Jin, you know.
God,
that would be
yeah.
upsetting. I understand.
Like it was really dumb. I just think, like I'm saying, that if they really care, they should just make they should just make new characters who are black, and then just, you know, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they should just make new characters and then make them the race you want if you really want diversity. Like, I think there's a cartoon like on freaking Cartoon Network called like Craig of the Creek, and then like it's not really like forced, not I guess forced diversity is what I'm trying to say, but it's already like naturally diverse because they made a new show with new characters. There's like black, I think there's like a lot of black characters. They're all like black kids, and then there's like probably a couple of white characters too. And it's like, see, that's what they could do. Like, instead of taking something that's already been established and then changing the race or diversity, just like make something new instead of changing. Because I know back to the Friends thing, but I know that some people are like, oh, why don't they remake Friends but then make everyone like a person of color? And I'm just like, well, why? Like, what would that really bring to the table other than diversity? Like, again, it comes down to the whole diversity thing. Like, what would that bring to the table? Like,
you should just make a new show at that point.
Yeah, you should, exactly. That's exactly my point. Like, just make a new show. Like, you're not bringing anything new by just making the characters diverse. Like,
or it would be like saying like, oh, make Friends, but instead of being, you know, straight people, make them gay or something.
Yeah, like, what does that really bring? Like, what does that bring to the table? Like, nothing really. Just diversity. If you want diversity, then make your own show.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I guess so. I would much rather than just make a new show.
Yeah,
really.
Like, you get to watch something that's completely new and fresh out of the mind of someone instead of someone trying to grasp at straws and trying to copy something else, and then it doesn't really succeed, or they do succeed, but now they have like a divided fan base or whatever.
Yeah, I really hope anyone who's watching this doesn't like confuse this with racism, because it's not. It's just like, it does make sense. Like, why would you change a whole show just due to diversity? I don't know. I would hope that they would just make that diversity in a new show and make it better than the old show. Just make it a lot better than that, you know? Be like, oh, look, this diverse show is a lot better than Friends was because it's just a better show.
Exactly.
Not just because it's diverse. But yeah, I see your point there, mister. So, I mean, what else is there anything else we should do? Did we already talk about how race should only be a factor for certain party? Did we get that already?
I feel like we kind of talked about it. I mean, we didn't talk about, like, how I was saying the whole, the time frame, I guess, of things matter.
Yeah, because you said something about, like,
oh,
jeez, dude.
I'm trying to get this armor set. That's really good for Sorcerer.
Yeah.
That's wrong way.
Why aren't you collecting everything, dude? You know how our friends
I don't do that.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it like that. You have to do it that way.
Oh fuck.
That's just because Pyromancer was the best class.
Yeah, but we're Sorcerer, so...
Oh, right.
Pick Sorcerer.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that was on me.
Fuck. Oh no, did I go the wrong way?
You did. What a bum.
I did go the wrong way.
It's like...
I know.
Jeez. Alright.
Whoa!
Oh my lord.
Oh. Okay, I think this is the right way.
So, like, how you said something about, like, in the 1600s or something? About some character?
I was just saying that it depends on the time frame. Oh, I'm dead.
Lost all those souls.
Oh, I didn't even level up. But I was just saying that like, well, I don't even know if this pertains to race washing, but I guess we could just talk about it. How that it's kind of that again, it comes down to just being a diverse show, but they'll let's say the time frame, like the example was that it's like the 1700s or something like that, or like the 1600s. Let's just say the time frame was when slavery was around, right? Since that'll be easier to understand, I guess. So, and then they're gonna make a show. Let's say, because I'm just gonna talk about this one specific show that I feel like is a good example that I don't even know what to call her. I'm just call her Potato. Sorry, the fucking Potato.
Okay.
I'm gonna call her the fucking Potato. Was telling me about that her sister was watching. I think it was a show that was like around that time frame. The guy was like some kind of lord or some kind of like really rich guy or some shit like that, right? And he was black, and then he was like trying to court this woman or something who's white, but the whole thing is more like in that time frame. Yes, I know that there were instances of black people who own like estates, or because like they worked off their indenturement, or some were really unlucky and just they were kept being slaves, or they became freed somehow. They had estates, but the thing is, like, I just feel that it was kind of like that the story wasn't about like him being like a free man. It was just like, oh, they made him black in that time frame, and he's like somehow a lord, and it's just like you just made him black because of like diversity. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you want to write a show like that, don't make it in that time frame. Just write it as like, oh, like a completely different universe or something where none of that existed. If that makes sense.
What do you know if like they were trying to be historically accurate, or was it just?
It wasn't like a historically accurate story. Like they're basing it off of something. It's just that I think they're in that time. Is what the show is about. Like they're in that time. Like what's the name of that fucking book / show? I don't know. I can't
Hunger Games?
No.
Book /
Oh my god. The Potato is literally just reading this for her class, her English class.
But shoot, what was I gonna say about the? So, but like if it was historically accurate, I would give them the benefit of the doubt because it was.
Historically.
I would say that it was probably just a work of fiction for them. Like it's just like a place of universe. Like that. I'm just gonna.
Well, it was like a work of fiction, but it was, I think, supposed to be based in that time. Because you know how there's like a lot of shows that are like, it's a work of fiction, but it's based in that time. But it wasn't even like, oh, there's like supernatural things or anything. Like it's just a made-up story during that time frame, and that's what I'm saying. That if you're gonna make up a story during that time frame, it just wouldn't make sense to make this character like black, and then it's gonna be like not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that even makes sense.
I think so, but I mean, like the richest person ever to exist was a black.
Well, yeah, but the thing that was probably like what, in Africa, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but still, I'm just saying like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That was in Africa. Like they weren't in Africa at this time. They were, I think, in England or in the United States, or not even the United States. The fucking, let's call it the colonies there at this point. But because my counter argument to that would be like, there's the show that I just watched recently with the Potato called freaking Shadow and Bones, and it's like how you were saying, like it's a work of fiction that's supposed to be kind of in like a time frame of that, but that it's not trying to be this like real world. It's just like it's in those kind of times as like its location or whatever, that makes sense. And then in that show itself, there's like a ton of diversity, but